is a video making its rounds on the internet featuring a 13-foot python wrapped around a baby. Now, I'm going to show you the video and then I'll explain exactly why this was posted online. Take a look. The music selection there is awesome. Now, the reason why that was posted online is because Jamie Garino, who is the father of that cute little baby, wants to show people that snakes are not dangerous. He hates all the stigma attached to snakes. So he's like, look, a snake wrapped around my baby. Isn't it so cute? A lot of online commenters didn't think it was cute. They think that they put the baby in danger. And Jamie Garino actually responded to that criticism. He said the following. By the way, the snake's name is Nene, which I think is hilarious. He says, in this video, I was showing the simple fact that snakes are not evil creatures. They can be a loving pet despite their bad reputation. My daughter was absolutely in no danger. When people see this clip, they mostly react with fear or negativity, and I don't understand why. Because as you can see, the snake is just roaming around. It has no interest in biting her or choking her or swallowing her until one day it finally does. This is an embedded fear, and I think people are brainwashed. I have a lot to say about this, but I want to open it up to the panel first. Jenn Hoffman, make your point.
Okay, well, the first thing about this is that the father is a snake handler. He's been handling snakes for about 20 years as his primary vocation. Like, this is what he does for a living. So, of course, he's going to know whether a snake should be around his child or not. He probably knows the temperament, the signs if the snake's being upset. Second of all, this little girl, I think it was a little girl, is going to grow up around snakes her whole life if that's her father's occupation and he has pets in the house. The only time people freaked out is when he put it on video.
Yeah.
So there's probably plenty of households where people grow up in a zoo environment or on a farm around animals or something that most people don't understand and would think is dangerous. I don't really have a problem with this father actually just showing what goes on in his day-to-day house, and the outrage over what's going on in these people's private lives is a little bit like, all right, come on. He's just doing what they do in their house.
Mm-hmm. Dave?
Well, I should be upfront. I'm not a snakeologist, so I can't get into the science of whether this snake is going to choke or bite the baby. But I basically agree with you. Look, except for the fact that when that snake, first off, it's on top of them. Now, I assume it's a boa constrictor of some kind. Like, don't they constrict? Isn't that, there's going to be some sort of constriction? Yeah. And also, you know, when the snake's head got close to the baby, now I get it. Maybe it was defanged or whatever. It's still a tiny little infant, and I get it. We're not all experts in snake stuff. But it's there's something like gutturally freaky about it. How about that?
So I feel like you are between me and Jen when it comes to this issue because I'm actually against it. And regardless of whether or not he's a snake handler, we've done so many stories on TYT where a person who had a chimp as a domesticated animal, who raised the chimp and cared for the chimp, all of a sudden got attacked by the chimp. That's actually one of our highest viewed videos on the Young Turks. The woman's entire face was completely mutilated. And so you might think that you're an absolute expert when it comes to snakes and you can totally handle them appropriately, but you can never be safe enough, especially when it comes to a baby. So here's the question related to the story. What's one thing you think people are brainwashed about? Dave, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, well, this is something that I've been thinking about and talking about on my show a lot lately, is I think people, especially politically, everyone thinks that they know everything and that their side is always right. And I'm sure I'm guilty of it too, that we all think, you know, and this is partly because of the way we all get our news and we cater news to ourselves and all that, that we're always so convinced that we're right and we're somehow moral and the other people are evil or disingenuous or dishonest. And that's just silly and actually doesn't get anything anywhere. So I think everyone's sort of brainwashed in that regard.
Especially when it comes to political affiliation. Jen, what about you?
Well, you know, I initially had a similar thought when you were going to say, what are we brainwashed about? I was going to say everything. Like, I feel like we're practically living in the Matrix. But the more I think about it, I think we're brainwashed about the right to have outrage. Everyone feels that we're entitled to be so outraged at what other groups do or what individuals do in their own home, such as a dad raising a baby with a snake in the household. And really, we don't have the right to that. We're brainwashed to think that our opinion matters more than someone's right to live their life. It's a can I live situation. And I think that's what we're brainwashed about.
Yeah, it's the age of new media. Everyone's outraged about something, and there's usually a flavor of the week, right? Like, what is everyone outraged about this week? And it changes the following week. I think people are brainwashed specifically on the issue of gender equality, right? So I use the word gender equality because if I started that sentence off with feminist, people would like have their heads explode, and I don't want to get into that. But I think that gender equality is a super nuanced issue, and oftentimes people don't see it as a nuanced issue. They're brainwashed into either being against gender equality or hating feminists or really loving feminists and supporting them regardless of what they do. And so you kind of have to take cases by case instance, I guess, and make a decision when it comes to certain stories. I remember we did that story about that scientist who wore like the cartoon naked women and everyone like freaked out about it. And even if you identify as a feminist, you should be able to understand that that particular case was not worth getting outraged about. Nonetheless, don't be so, hard on people who have different opinions from you. Don't be so outraged all the time. Don't allow people to dictate the way you think. Think for yourself. Okay, I'm gonna leave that story with that PSA message for you guys. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. What's one thing that you think other people are definitely brainwashed on? And also, I want to hear your thoughts on this python story. Do you think that the father is being negligent in allowing this python to wrap itself around his child? Let us know in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys soon.